talk a little bit more about exploring and how we can use our senses, like our eyes, our ears, and our noses, to explore the world around us and sometimes find amazing animals. Because we're really lucky. We live in an area here in Australia where we've got cool animals right around our houses. So, as I said, I love keeping track of everything that I find in my journal. So I wanted to share another adventure with you today. Now, on this adventure, I was looking for a particular animal. And this animal can be found right throughout Australia in lots of different habitats. Sometimes they might live in the desert, they might live in more of a mountainy area, they might live in our backyard. But on this particular day, I went on a bit of a drive out to a rainforest. Now, I got out of my car, started walking down the nature trail, and just used my eyes to have a bit of a look around this habitat and see what I could see. I saw lots of big, old, beautiful trees, lots of leaves and sticks on the ground, and then I noticed one giant tree that had fallen over. It must have been a very old tree because it had a hollow inside. It looked like a tunnel, and it looked to me like a great shelter, a great hiding place in this habitat. So I went up and I had a little peek inside. And sure enough, there were some animals that were living in this tree hollow. The first one I noticed was a little rat. It was curled up on one side of the log. I went over to the other side of the log and I saw a little possum. This was a little brush-tailed possum. And I said, whoa, 2 animals in one log, how lucky is that? And then I even noticed that outside of the log, scratching around on the ground, there was a baby bush turkey. It was a bit cute. Now that was pretty exciting because I'd already found 3 animals on this adventure. But I was even more excited because the animal that I was hoping to find out in the rainforest on this day is what we call a predator. And this predator would like to eat little prey items like a little rat or a possum or a baby bush turkey. So this animal that I was looking for on this day was a carnivore or a meat eater. And I already know that this animal will have plenty of food. So that was the first clue. I kept walking along and I was a little distracted. I was looking up in the trees, I was listening, I was smelling, I wasn't paying attention, and I felt something squish under my boot. It made kind of a yucky squishing sound. I lifted up my boot, I looked on the ground, and that's when the smell hit me. I had stepped right into a poo clue. Now, most people wouldn't be very excited to step into a poo, but as an explorer, I've learned that a poo can actually tell you a lot about what an animal eats. So, I had a look at this poo. I picked up a stick, I gave it a little poke, and I noticed that in this poo I could see some fur. It was a long, skinny poo, and it was quite smelly. Now, working here at Lone Pine, I have worked with a lot of different animal poos, and I've learned that different animals have different poos depending on what they eat. So a herbivore, or a plant eater, their poos are usually like little hard, round pellets, not super stinky. Carnivore poos, they're pretty gross. They smell like rotten meat, because that's what the animal eats. And judging by this poo, it was a carnivore. So something has been eating these little prey items in this habitat. That's when I noticed there was a trail leading away from the poo, and I followed it. And it took me around to the back of a tree, and that's where I came across a pile of eggs. Now these eggs had already hatched. They were empty. So I had a little feel, and the egg shell was kind of soft and leathery. It didn't really feel like a bird egg or like a hard shell. So I took a picture and I started thinking about animals that I know that lay eggs other than birds. I was walking and I was thinking, and I was kind of having a few ideas floating through my mind, and that's when I found the best clue ever. It was hanging off of a branch, kind of blowing in the wind, and it was a long piece of scaly shed skin. I'm pretty sure we all know what animal this came from. So I knew there was a snake nearby, and the shed skin was even a little bit wet, which let me know it was very fresh. This animal had only just shed its skin. So I was very careful because I knew there was a snake nearby. And I was looking down on the ground, but then I remembered, you know what? Some snakes like to live and climb more up in the trees. So I got out my binoculars and I looked up in the tree, and sure enough, curled around on a branch, having a snooze in the sun, I saw a beautiful jungle carpet python. It was so gorgeous, right up high in the tree. Now, I'm glad that the snake was right up high in the tree because that meant I could look at it from a safe distance, because it's really important whenever we're out on adventures that we're being safe and also respectful of wildlife. So, especially when it comes to snakes, you never want to go and try to get too close to a snake. And if you're ever out for an adventure and you come across a snake, just freeze where you are, turn into a popsicle or a statue. If that snake is moving, it'll just slither on away. If it's not moving, you can slowly step away, walk away, and then go and tell a grown-up that you've seen a snake. But I was so happy to have found this gorgeous animal in this beautiful habitat. It had everything it needed to survive. It's got plenty of food to eat with those little prey species. It's obviously eating them because it left behind that big stinky poo. It's got lots of shelter and places to hide during the day, places to lay its eggs. So I left that beautiful snake right where it was. But we have some really lovely snakes that call lone pine home. So I'm going to introduce you to one of my special lone pine snake friends. Hi explorers, Kayla here. And this is a beautiful black-headed python. His name is Captain. His full name is Captain Mifune, which is a bit of a funny name. Now, as I mentioned before, when I was going out on my adventure, snakes can live in lots of different habitats. They can live in the desert, in the rainforest, even in our own backyards. They prefer habitats that are nice and warm. That's because a snake is a reptile, and reptiles are what we call ectothermic. And that means that their blood is going to be the same temperature as the air around them, and they get their energy from a heat source like the sun. So if you've ever seen a snake or a lizard or a turtle out basking in the sun and sunbaking, they're basically charging up their batteries so they can have energy to move, just like Captain's moving right now. Now, Captain is a species of snake that would live down on the ground. They're found in more dry, arid regions like deserts and kind of grasslandy areas where there aren't too many trees. So they would spend most of their time down on the ground, slithering around, looking for food. Now, he would eat something like a little mouse or a rat, but this species of snake actually specializes in eating other reptiles. So things like lizards and even other snakes. They can even eat venomous snakes, and they have an immunity to a lot of the snake venom of other venomous snakes that might be found around where they live, which is super duper cool. So we might go and find somewhere for Captain to have a little bit of a slither on the ground. He keeps going down. I think he's probably keen to have a little bit of an explore. But thanks for checking in. Have a wonderful day. Bye.